up and welcome to My Point of View. I am your fat and opinionated host, and by now I am sure that all of you all are aware of the wildfires that broke out down in Maui. It's a completely devastating situation, and when we see a tragedy this big, all of us are automatically flooded with tons of information. You know, you have the mainstream media and politicians, they're blaming all of this on climate change. It's climate change's fault that Maui basically got totally destroyed. And then the internet, they're blaming direct energy weapons and all types of other theories. And listen, direct energy weapons are real. I'm not here to tell you that direct energy weapons were used on Hawaii, but they are real. But also, there's a lot of fake photos and fake videos floating out there online. I'm sure some of you all have seen photos with beams of light coming from the sky. Those are not real, okay? A lot of those photos I've seen in years prior while covering other stories. These direct energy weapons, these lasers, if you will, you're not necessarily going to see them with the naked eye. Think of like a movie. You know how like criminals break in trying to steal like a jewel or an artifact from the museum, and they have to spray that little mist in the air, and then they see all the red lasers that's guarding, the artifact? That's kind of how a lot of these lasers are. You're not necessarily going to see them with the naked eye. They could use a direct energy weapon right next to you and you won't even notice it. You'll notice the aftermath, but you won't notice the laser. So anyway, when we have a tragedy like this, I do my best to step back. I don't take the mainstream media's word for it at all, of course. I look into the claims that people have online. I follow the chatter. But what's most important is listening to the people that live in these affected areas. Over on my main channel, Cinema Shogun. For those of you all who don't know, this is my secondary channel. I have a main channel. On my main channel, I covered the East Palestine story. The train derailment that basically, tainted this whole entire town with chemicals. My approach to that story is going to be the same as my approach to this story. I know the internet is abuzz with theories. I know the mainstream media is lying. I like to hear it from the horse's mouth. I want to hear from the people of Maui. And the people of Maui are now speaking out. And listen, regardless if this is some type of crazy conspiracy or not, the way the government has handled this situation is just completely lackluster. It's a joke. And let me tell you one thing. The government never lets a good crisis go to waste. So even if this was just a natural disaster, the way they're handling the aftermath, they're handling it in a way that just maximizes the destruction and the loss of life from this disaster. You know what I mean? I've gotten reports that a whole entire neighborhood of kids is missing. I want you to let that sink in. I've seen reports that school was canceled, so I know that some schools were canceled that day. I don't know how school operates in Maui. I know how it operates here. Sometimes we'll have a few schools shut down and a few open. It depends, because we have private schools, public schools, you name it. So I've seen reports that school was shut down that day, but I've also seen reports that some schools were open and kids were sent home by themselves in the middle of hurricane force winds. Now, regardless if these kids were at home or they were sent home, these kids were at home during the fire. And there's entire neighborhoods of children missing. The parents were off at work. Kids left at home. No school. All of these kids are missing. I assume that a lot of these kids passed away in the fire. I am hoping that there's not something more sinister going on in the background because, hey, if someone were to have come in and snatched up a lot of these kids, we would never know. They would blame it on the fire. They would say they died in the fire, and then all of the evidence is burned down to the ground. Now, I'm not saying that something like that necessarily happened, but the people of Maui are asking questions. I want to go ahead and roll this clip so you could hear it out of their mouths instead of mine, that a lot of the people who are missing are actually children. Let's go ahead and roll this clip.
Okay, guys. News update, okay? I'm sorry I'm always doing these news updates from in my car, but I'm always go because I just have so much stuff I want to do for my people between coaching and picking up signs and trying to get donations. But I just went and find out that they went and sent the kids home because of hurricane weather. Now, I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down, but they sent these kids home. I can't even come out of my mouth. Do you hear what I'm saying? A lot of these keikis, their parents work, So they were home while the fires were going.
So that's very obviously a devastating situation. I don't even want to really dwell on it and think about it too long because that's insane. And the fact that we're not really hearing about this from social media, from the mainstream media, it's really irking my nerves because that should be one of the main things that's being talked about, but it's not. And the death toll that the mainstream media is reporting is like around 90 something. The people of Maui say that there may be up to 3,000 people gone. There's people missing. No one can find them. And the reaction from our government to this situation has been very questionable. They are blocking people with supplies from reaching certain parts of the island to help people out. Meanwhile, robbers have made their way onto the island. They're robbing people at gunpoint. Nothing's being done about that. But people who are trying to bring gas, food, water, and medical supplies are being blocked. It's gotten so bad that the people of Maui have band together and they're now traveling on boats and jet skis around the island, trying to dodge law enforcement and the military, trying to get supplies to these people because our own government is blocking these supplies from coming in. It's really bad. And this is not just me talking. Like I said, my approach is I listen to the people of Maui. I don't care what the mainstream media is saying. And to be honest, I know that the internet has a lot of useful information, but there's also a lot of people out there just spreading nonsense. So I'm trying to play this as cool as possible, and I'm just listening, and I'm observing what the people of Maui are saying. And the fact that they're having to form their own little groups to go out here with jet skis and stuff trying to save people's lives while our government turns it's so frustrating, y'all. But let's go ahead and roll these clips so you all have a better understanding of what I'm talking about.
Anybody on social media, we need to get some of this stuff out to the people in Lahaina. If you can't post it, come out here and tell your friends.
To where, Pat?
To Kahana Boat Ramp, to Lumma Estates. And ask anybody if you don't know. It's pretty easy to find. You have to go around because the bridge is out. So you have to go around the Peak Market and come down this way.
They come from the north side.
And it's a one-way, so mind you, it's going to be a little congested, but we're here, man. We got so much stuff. And, people need it, man. The stuff you guys are bringing, it's unreal. Thanks. They're going to need it.
Okay, Russ.
You guys want more propane? Huh? There's nothing generator.
Right now, something big is happening. We've been trying to get insulin flown in from Kona over to Kapalua, but our flights are being blocked by the Department of Health because it wasn't approved by them. And right now, there's a lot of people that need their medical needs met. Specifically, we need prescription medications. People are suffering over there, and there is no government official from the local county level to the state, even federally. We have no support. They're actually making it more difficult for us to try to help our Ohanas, our families, and our friends that are in need of us. So we've been going by jet ski, by boat, and soon they're going to be stopping that. And we're doing whatever we can to help, but we're very limited because we're basically being stopped by our own government. And right now we're trying our best to keep pushing
So
through.
the moral of the story is, the moral of this video, the point of this video is, you know, I can't sit here and prove to you that direct energy weapons and space lasers were used to create these fires. I can't sit here and prove any of that stuff to you. What I can prove is that the government is not doing their jobs. What I can prove is that supplies, medical supplies, insulin, you name it, is being blocked from coming in to these areas to help the people who are affected. So, like I said, they never let a good crisis go to waste. And instead of helping, they maximize the destruction. Because this didn't have to be as bad as what it was. Okay? But there's a lot of things that failed. The alarm system failed. I'm seeing reports that people were blocked from evacuating. A lot of people in the area were trying to fight the fires themselves, the locals, but the water got shut off. The fire hydrants stopped working. So they were crippled and disabled from being able to try to fight the fires. Firefighters weren't there. And this thing just happened so quickly, and it was so destructive. It's insane to think about. Looking at the pictures, it looks like a freaking nuclear bomb dropped on Maui. That's what it looks like. You can go look at photos from Ukraine, in the war zone of Ukraine. It doesn't look near as bad as what Maui looks like right now. Maui is basically ashes. It's ashes. Meanwhile, the people in Maui are blocked from getting supplies. So like I said, we could sit here and talk about these theories all day. And I'm not saying that I don't believe or I do believe in some of these theories. But what we can operate with here is the actual provable facts. And the provable facts are that, the people of Maui have been failed on every level. And when you really look at it, it doesn't look like they were just failed because of incompetence. You know what I mean? Common sense tells you, oh, people need insulin, let's give them insulin. Common sense tells you people need water, food, let's give them water. But no, we're blocking it. And think about this. Isn't it weird? Some of the trees in the area didn't burn down. Oprah's house is fine. All of these multi-billionaires, their houses, their properties are fine. But somehow the bridges are burning down. Bridges have been destroyed. Really think about it. I don't know what type of bridges these are. Are they made of wood? Or are they a real bridge? Why are bridges destroyed from a fire? A fire usually wouldn't destroy a bridge, yet the bridges and the roadways that these people take to get in and out of these, these areas, some of them are just completely destroyed. Almost like they wanted these people isolated on this island. Almost like they wanted one way in and one way out. So, I don't know, people. I'm going to continue looking into this situation. This is the tip of the iceberg. It's much worse than what you think. It's much worse than what I think. We're not getting the truth. We're slowly getting pieces of the truth from people who are actually living out there. And those are the people who I am choosing to listen to. But for now, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. And as always, remember to remain opinionated.